Hello again, my listeners. Thanks again for tuning in to my channel. It's always a pleasure having you, sharing the insights as they channel through me from the universal power that is within me, that is within all of us. It gives me great pleasure to share the information as it comes. And I must apologize once more for the background noise that you will hear in my videos. And the reason for this is that my insights generally comes through in the mornings when I'm commuting to work, when I'm driving to work. So I'll be on the road recording as I go along. So you may hear car horns or trucks or bikes as they pass. I do apologize for that. Now, we as human beings, we are complex, and we are aware of that by now, that we are complex beings. We are not just what you see on the outside. We are not just physical. The deeper or the greater part of us is internal. And we have to be able to understand the complexity of each of us. No two human beings are the same. And that is evident in our DNA. There's no two human beings. Therefore, it is evident that no two human beings are the same. So that will form the basis of the fact that we are separate entities, we are separate individuals. Our makeup, while we may share the same biological makeup, the tenets of that makeup may be different. Alright, now what I want to talk with you today is about communication and our expectations of each other. We constantly interact with each other. We are constantly communicating with each other. It doesn't matter the method of communication, whether it is verbal or non-verbal communication. But it's a constant way of life. We communicate with people we know, we communicate with strangers, we communicate, we interact, because we are interactive beings. And that's how it was meant to be. We are interactive beings, and as I've said in my previous videos, we are all connected, so we need to communicate. However, it is how we communicate that makes the difference. And people may communicate easily, meaning that they may be on the same level of reasoning, level of interpretation, so they are able to interact on a level where the communication will flow among them, flow between them. So that's not a big deal. However, some persons may find it difficult to communicate with others because it may be a difference of opinion. It may be a difference of how they see or how their reality was created. It's a difference. It's a difference in how they were socialized. So their opinions are different. Their realities are different. So they may have a difficulty communicating because they don't see eye to eye on issues or on discussion topics or so on and so. However, it is very important that we as human beings learn to communicate with each other, because we need each other to build relations, to build families, to build communities, to build societies. We need to communicate not only on the in our local, in our communities or in our workplace, in our countries, but we need to communicate on a wider scale, where countries need to communicate with each other, because in communicating then we will have peace. We won't have the need for wars, because we have an understanding of each other. We understand each other's needs, we understand each other's likes, dislikes, so we would attempt, or should attempt, to be cognizant of these needs, these likes, these dislikes, and try to foster them as best as we can in order to have peace and have serenity. Whenever communication becomes difficult, we need to, as individuals, examine ourselves to see if the issue is with us. And it may not be that we are bad communicators, as I said. It may be a case where our realities are different, our backgrounds are different, our socializations are different, how we interpret information is different. So we form our opinions based on these factors. So in communicating, we need to understand, or attempt to understand, who we are communicating with, to see if we are compatible, the persons are compatible. And it doesn't stand to reason that because you're a human being, I'm a human being, I'm an adult, you're an adult, or I'm a young person, you're a young person. It doesn't stand to reason that we will necessarily communicate well. The factors that I've mentioned before will come into play, and must come into play, where you have an understanding of the person that you're communicating with. And this would help with forming relations. It would help, especially intimate relationships, because one of the mistakes that we make as people is that we initially form relations based on physical attraction. And physical attraction is easy. It's one of the easiest parts of forming a relationship, because you know what you like, or the type of person you like. It may be a guy, a tall, dark and handsome guy. It may be a young lady who has a certain physique, or she has a beautiful smile, or something like that. But we all know what we are attracted to, or the type of person we are attracted to. So that would be the first pull, or the first phase in forming a relationship. You see this person that you like, so you begin to become attracted to that person. So physical attraction is not a biggie. It's not a biggie. However, what we need to do is to get to know the person, not just on a physical level, not just on a sexual level. We need to get to know each other, how we think, our perspective on life, how we see others, the type of how caring we are, what is our future goals. We need to get to know each other on a deeper level, even before we become physical with each other, because being intimate or physical can complicate things, and it can overshadow other important aspects of forming a relationship. And I'm talking about an intimate relationship. So it is important, because there are times when we find that after the relationship reaches a certain level, you realize that you can't communicate with each other. You don't see eye to eye on much. And if you can't communicate with your partner, then it's going to be difficult, because a relationship is involves stages and building the relationship to get to a point, because no one wants to be in a relationship that is not growing, that is not developing, that is not going anywhere. So we know that communication is very vital. So it is important, as I said, that we get to know each other, get to understand how we think, how each other think, how we solve problems, how we understand challenges, our background, how we were socialized, what is our perspective, our views on life, things like that. It's important. And what is important as well is that we know ourselves as well. We have an understanding of ourselves, how we think, so that we can make the comparison. We can say, all right, this is how I look at life, this is how I reason things, this is my opinion on certain matters. So we know if we are compatible. It doesn't make sense we get into intimacy without knowing the person that we are getting involved with, because further down in the relationship it's gonna cause complications. It will cause complications, it will cause issues. And then the intimate part may not even matter, because if you can't communicate, for some persons they cannot be intimate. So we realize that from the get-go there are certain things that we need to sort out. We're forming an intimate relationship, we're forming a lasting relationship. Get to know your partner, get to know yourself first, then you get to know your partner. So to find out if you're compatible. And persons may be on different vibrational levels. They may be on different spiritual levels. They may be on different emotional levels from their partners. And this can cause implications further on. So it is good to know, to talk about stuff, to delve deep into each other, to get to know where you're at, where your partner is at in the relationship or in your life on a whole. Because this will be very critical for the success of the relationship. Get to know each other, get to know yourself first, and you get to know your partner, so that you can grow together. Do some simple, fun things with each other that will help to pull out certain characteristics. It may pull out certain personality traits. Because initially in a relationship, we tend to want to please the other person. We tend to want to get the other person to like us. So there are times when we may even give up certain beliefs, certain principles, just to please the person, or we will hide certain traits, certain personality traits that we have, because we don't want to turn off the person. So being honest is another very important, should be another important goal of each individual when forming a relationship. And also it goes for professional relations or social relations. Get to know yourself before you introduce yourself to others, so that when persons introduce themselves to you, you will know if you are compatible, if you can form a friendship, or as it relates to a professional relationship, you won't necessarily have a choice in who you work with. However, at least you will understand yourself, you will know what you can deal with from what you cannot. So you will be able to navigate your way around your co-workers and be able to work towards the goals of the organization. Do what you need to do to get the job done. So this is my discussion for today. Communication and knowing yourself before you can introduce yourself to others, whether it is social, professional, or on an intimate level. that you form a relationship. You have to know yourself first before you introduce yourself to others, and this will help you to form lasting relationships that are beneficial, relationships that will grow you as a person and grow the other person that you interact with. I am Nadria Brown. Do have a wonderful day.